where she did not belong. It occurred to her then, he may suspect he had discovered her in the midst of something nefarious. Perhaps a clandestine meeting, the sort Sarah was not supposed to be aware existed. "My lady?" He prodded, moving nearer. To her dismay, she realized she had nowhere to retreat. The door met her back, hard and unyielding. Still, she could not seem to find her voice. She had not much experience with gentlemen, or rather, gentlemen as overwhelming as the Earl of Markham. Ordinary gentlemen, yes. Men who made it difficult for her to think? Decidedly not. "I trust you do have a voice, my lady." He smiled then, a true smile, revealing a lone dimple in his right cheek. How could it be that even his dimple was glorious? She forced herself to speak at last. "I do indeed have a voice, my lord. Forgive me for my intrusion. I was merely lost." His grin deepened. "Lost?" "Yes." She had not missed the manner in which he had continued to approach her, confidently, arrogantly. Warmth unfurled in her belly, then slid lower. She was certain her cheeks were ablaze. The nearer he drew, the more heightened her awareness of him became. "Or perhaps found," he suggested, stopping only when he was near enough she could touch his chest if she but raised a hand. Her fingers itched. What would he do if she touched him? It was wrong of her to entertain such a thought, never mind allow herself to be tempted by it. But she could not seem to strike the notion. "I took a wrong turn." Her voice was alarmingly breathless. "You descended a staircase," he pointed out, sounding amused. Was it her imagination, or had his stare flitted to her lips for a moment before rising once more? Her imagination, she decided, for it was safer, far safer. "I did descend a staircase," she agreed, "but I was looking for my mother. The two of us were separated, you see." A lie, but hopefully he would not question her further, and she could make good her escape before she was truly ruined. Or before she did something foolish. She had made the acquaintance of many gentlemen since her come-out, but there was something about the Earl of Markham, some magnetism, which called to her on an elemental level. "Indeed." He still seemed amused, more than likely at her expense. "You were separated from your mother so thoroughly you took a wrong turn and found yourself on another floor of Lord Bellingham's home entirely." When he said it aloud, she realized how exceedingly inane her explanation had been. "Very well," she allowed grudgingly. "I concede the feebleness of my excuse. If you must know, I was dreadfully bored with the ball, and I was seeking out the library." His smile fled. "This, too, is yet another prevarication." She bristled. "It is not, my lord. I do not care for balls, and I have recently found myself in the habit of surreptitiously sneaking away and finding other means of distracting myself, namely books." He stared at her solemnly, his countenance impenetrable. "You were not meeting a gentleman, Lady Sarah?" He knew her name. Drat! She had been hoping, logically supposing, in fact, that a man like the Earl of Markham would have no inkling as to who she was. Most gentlemen, after all, saw only Amelia. But this man, this handsome, perplexing man, knew precisely who she was. The knowledge did strange things to her insides. "I was not meeting another," she reassured him, keeping her voice cool. The longer she remained in this chamber with him, the more she invited ruin, and Sarah knew it. She ought to turn and flee in great haste. She ought to run as far and as fast as she could. But for some reason, there was nowhere she wanted to go. Nowhere else she wanted to be, other than here. With the wickedly handsome Earl of Markham. "You have already fibbed to me once," he told her. "Why should I believe you?" "Why should you care either way, my lord?" she dared to ask. A ghost of a smile returned, flitting over his lips. "Because it is most unwise for a lady to seek a man alone in a chamber."